Hey everyone, it is that time where we get to sync up, chat, and I get to recommend some great resources for you to check out. Hey everyone, I hope you're well, playing and or making the games that you all love. You're joining me, your host, Max Pears, and I hope everyone that you are safe right now, and so is your family. So I don't want to talk too much about it. Sorry, I'm creating noise, but I've got some mess on here, and I'm trying to wipe it away. Not that any of you can see it, but I try to take pride in where I sit when I record this to all of you amazing peeps. So I got distracted there. But yes, I hope that everyone is safe during this time and that you're all able to, relax. And just thank you again for taking the time to listen to this. And I don't want to stay on this topic too much because, again, you come here to listen to not this smooth jazz voice, but to hear about a few different game-making things. So I want to make sure that, we take your mind off things about what's going on in the world, and we can just talk some cool game dev resources. Now, I'm sure that most of you are probably working from home or are at home, so I hope you're all able to actually play and get through many different games or get working on some personal projects that you actually maybe, might have been preoccupied by all of this going on. So yeah, I hope it all goes well for you. You're really taking advantage of this time, whether it is just relaxing, spending time with your family, or doing the projects that you want to do. Just make sure you're really taking advantage of the time that you can hopefully get from this. I know some of you prefer to be out. That makes me as well. But again, just want to hope and make sure that you're all safe and, enjoying yourselves as well. For those of you who are new to the show, it is in these episodes where I discuss kind of the latest kind of sources that I found throughout my time when I've been, when I've been looking for stuff to research in terms of development and to improve myself, because I do not know everything. So it's great to share the work of many other amazing developers out there so that you can learn and grow, and we can all grow together. Now, all of these will be in the link in the description down below, so you can access them quickly. And always shout out to Kat, because it's always a reminder to make sure that I will sum up at the end a bit more about these as well, so you know and remember what it is that we've discussed in this time period. Now, let's not keep you waiting any longer and go through these resources that, I wanted to break down and share with all of you amazing people. Now, the first one, with the celebration of Valve releasing a Half-Life game in, I don't even know how many years, 13 or something? Crazy amount of time, but Half-Life Alyx has now been released. I do not have a VR setup, but from what we've all seen, it is supposed to be an amazing game and very much a game changer in the fact of what you can do and pushing VR into a new realm of what it means to make a VR game. So if you have played it, let me know what you think about it. I'd be very interested to hear what you think about it. Do you think it's as good as everyone's saying? Is it worth investing in VR equipment now because of the game? Let us know. But in light of this, what we've got is a classic post-mortem on the making of Half-Life 2. This is on Gamma Sutra. This is where they're breaking down what it took to make the game in terms of different elements such as, we'll go through a few, project scaling, level design, art, animation, all of these thoughts and a bit of the procedure that went behind such a classic and well-known game that is a huge thing with just games development in general. What I mean by a huge thing, because that was a really poor choice of words there, peeps. Still, maybe this is what I should be focused on, increasing my vocabulary when I'm talking with you. But what I mean is all the different kind of elements that come together when making a game. As we know as level designers ourselves, is that there's so much that goes into each discipline. So how it all comes together, such things as feature creeps, how that affects it, like we just mentioned then, the scaling, how that has to be changed and adapted for the game. And no matter what you start with at the beginning, it's probably never going to amount to that when the game comes out, because the fact that even as experienced developers and studios, and no matter how many people you have working, everyone tends to overscope. It is a curse of this industry. So them talking about how to reduce it, talking about the level design process, because for those of you who I've seen that have used I believe it's the Source engine, a lot of their, the term for blockouts can be referred to as whiteboxing, right? But they use a lot of orange within their levels when it comes to the blockout phase. So again, different kind of approach, breaking a little bit about why they've made that choice instead of going with something like your more traditional grey or white boxes. So yeah, a lot of elements, but that's one of the things that I think is a very good kind of perspective, especially for us as level designers, and there's much more of it as well. They talk about their core principles, like I mentioned, concept art as well, symbolism behind their designs, animations. So there's a lot to actually think about when you're reading this article, and a lot to take away, because making games is a challenge within itself. So it's always interesting to hear, and I always find this the most interesting. When that post-mortem came out of Anthem. And there's a lot of things there, and there was a post-mortem similar about God of War, and they both had a same issue of trying to create tech while making the game. They're not the only two studios that do this, but hearing how that has such a big impact on the game, right? That will have a huge impact. But how, and neither post-mortem went into detail on this, but just how the differences, yet they had the same problem, yet the differences in their choice of solution can have a ripple of an impact there, and by there I mean in the game and the rest of the process. So yeah, just all very interesting stuff there, so I do recommend that. Now, number 2 is going to be actually written by one of our very own community members. A huge shout out. We were meant to meet at the end of, well, it would have been somewhere at a point around this month, which is Overdue Mantok. A shout out, my friend, as always, just being a great guy and a great level designer. And we were supposed to meet, obviously things changed, so hopefully we'll meet up again in the future. The images in the article are provided by Overdue, and the article itself is also written by Ray Benefield. Sorry for the confusion there. But them talking and breaking down some really cool things about kind of 4 key aspects on what helps to make a good level. Now, to know who Ray Benfield is, Ray Benfield seems to be that of, and I could be wrong, so if I am wrong, please do correct me. Sorry, Ray, if I've misled any of your information, mate. He seems to be a modder, and he's breaking it down kind of from his perspective, and some really good points on how do you get your actual map noticed in the modding community. How is it? And I think this applies to that for us as level designers in when we're releasing personal work, or whether the fact that your portfolio, how do you get that noticed as well? We've talked about a few things here, but think about these elements as well. And he breaks down to 4 areas, such as that as how do you add a jaw-dropping effect? How is you create that wow factor, making sure that you break and subvert the rules. We've talked a little bit about this before, where you make sure you build the habit of the player doing something and then twist it, and this having an impact on the player and how they feel as well. So a really good one there. This is I think this is actually, this is actually only one chapter in a series written by Ray himself on a few of these elements. So yeah, it's a very interesting one to me that I think, just especially from someone who, and again, I could be wrong, Ray, so I apologize. Someone who, is that of a different type of modder, and again, just different elements in how we see these things. So yeah, another good one to check out, and grateful that we have all of these from the community.
At Level Design Lobby, we believe everybody has a story to tell. Hobbyist or student, freelancer or veteran, we made it our mission to unite those who share our passion for creating and developing great games. Thanks to our generous Patreon backers, we've been able to do just that. So if you've already pledged your support, thank you. If not, you too can ensure the future of Level Design Lobby, helping us to create even more exciting content, collaborations, interviews, and much more. With awesome perks and rewards, whether you're a seasoned professional or just getting started, you're sure to find something for you. Want to share tips, tricks, and advice with passionate, like-minded developers? Our awesome community Discord has you covered. Fancy practicing your level design, creating strong portfolio content, and having fun? Then try our level design weekends. Or perhaps you want to individually discuss your work, hone your skills, or level up your career? Then consider our one-on-one mentorships. If you share our vision, then go to patreon.com/level design lobby for more information and to pledge your support. Thank you.
For number 3, we're now going to move on to another shameless plug. I was fortunate enough to join Kevin on his podcast for the GameDev.tv podcast, discussing more things about level design. I got asked some great questions about this, and a few other amazing and a nice discussion about game development, and especially those who are students as well. I think this will be a very beneficial one for that element. So I do recommend going out, checking down this one, because it was fun to chat with them. It's about over an hour long. So if you do want to get more of this voice, please do check that one out, team. And the final one is a great one by Design Doc. This is a YouTube channel where he breaks down what makes a game replayable. Now, some of you may remember I did a video, I think it's in the 50s, I can't remember which episode exactly, but I talk about what makes a replayable level. Now, he's taking this from an overall game perspective, breaking down a few different things, whether it is procedural level design, that in terms of different narrative choices, branching paths, all of these that help to make a game replayable. Roguelike games, what is it about them that keep bringing us as players back? All of these many elements that make us want to go and replay and re-immerse ourselves within the world. So yeah, a good one there. I always like the Design Doc. Fantastic editing, puts me to shame by a long shot, but always good stuff there, team. Okay, everyone, this is where we're going to kind of sum up. I might be a little bit slow this month on uploading, just because of work is quite intense right now. All this stuff has kind of put me through a bit of a loop. So those who are waiting still for their feedback on their levels for the level design weekend, I do apologize. It is on my list. I've gotten through one already, but there's still a few that need to be addressed, and I do apologize. Like I said, this whole thing's kind of thrown me a bit through a loop, so I need to make sure that I get back to that, and your feedback will be coming very soon. So to summarize, let's go over what we talked about. The first one is that of the post-mortem of Half-Life 2, learning and breaking down the overall process. What's the pros and cons? What do they learn? The do's and don'ts from developing a game such as that. We're on about chapter 16. We're joined by a modder thinking and discussing how is it we actually make our maps and work stand out, which can be applicable to our levels ourselves and also that of our portfolios. I get to join for number 3, the Game Dev TV podcast, and get to discuss more level design goodness on that one. And then finally, what makes a game replayable by the Design Doc on YouTube. So thank you all very much for listening. If you do want to get in contact, maybe you want to share some of this good stuff with all of this amazing community, or maybe you've got an article that you've written you want me to take a look and then recommend on this channel, you can contact me through email, which is leveldesignlobby@gmail.com, or you can tweet me at maxpears, where you can find me, where I do small level design bite-sized tips. And yeah, if you want to support the channel, please head over to patreon.com/leveldesignlobby, because it helps make sure that we get better equipment, more amazing guests, and much, much more. So thank you all very much. I'll catch you all next time. Take it easy, stay safe, and see you all very soon.